Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dream Team Tonic podcast, episode 19. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you're listening to us, and wherever you're listening, whether that's YouTube, on the Patreon, the Fantasy Football Hub, or Spotify. Great to have you listening. I'm Tony, and as usual, I've got co-host Ben. Are you there, Ben?
Hi, mate.
All right, pal.
All right.
James, are you there?
I'm here, Tony.
Good stuff. Full house as usual. Just a big thanks to all the people who signed up on Patreon to support us. Really appreciate it. If you haven't signed up yet, get yourselves to patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic. Help support us bring even more content out. Right, a bit of a strange week. COVID has reared its ugly head. It's causing all sorts of hassle. There's all sorts of strange goings on. Matches cancelled, Harry Kane blanking again, and Leicester keeping a clean sheet.
Come on!
So all sorts happening. We'll jump straight in. Ben, seeing as you had a decent result today and you're in a bit of a better mood, we'll go to you first, mate.
Right. 50 points this week, 984 points in total. In goal, Edison, 5 points, clean sheet. Had nothing to do again until the last minute of the game, so no 7 rating.
Yeah.
Alexander Arnold, 8 points. Rudiger, 3 points. Cancelo, 7 points. Who I brought in for Harry Kane. And then Foden, 0. Come off the bench, didn't he? Silva somehow got a 0. Fornals was on the bench but came on as well. 0. Bowen, 3 points. 7 rating. Up front, I've got Salah, 13 points, man of the match and a goal. Ronaldo, 8 points for a goal. And I brought Mane in for Reguilon. Bit of advice from the lads. I was going Robertson or Mane. And the lads said, Mane. Oi, oi, oi. So went for him. He's still got a 7 rating, so 3 points. And Newcastle on, when did he play? Thursday. So open for a hat-trick. That'll be a class move if that works out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, still 3 transfers left.
3 transfers left?
Yeah.
Decent amount. Obviously, you've only got one United player after the rumoured outbreak there.
Yeah, so I was tempted to bring Sancho in, but I just held off. I thought, well, what's the point? Because West Ham have got more games in this month as well with the cup.
Yeah, didn't look great. United didn't. A lot of people have bulked up on United in quite a lot of the teams, and yeah, same old United really. And Ronaldo, picking out shit really.
Yeah, what about that? Last week we're moaning there weren't no penalties this season, and there's been 7 penalties this week.
Yeah.
Must have been listening to the pod.
There must have been. They know they had to sort it out. Ronaldo penalty, Salah penalty. All winners as well, weren't they?
Yeah. There was 3 penalties in the Chelsea-Leeds game.
Yeah.
One for Leicester today as well.
Yeah, I just switched it on as Tielemans was smashing that in top corner. Lovely penalty. Right, jump over to my team. It's only just done half as well as yours. Mendy in goal, -1. Rudiger, 3. I think he got 2 assists for the penalties, didn't he?
Yeah.
So that stopped him getting a minus again this week. Ruben Diaz, who I brought in for Reguilon, 4 points. A clean sheet, a yellow card. Didn't have much to do, did they? City really. Cancelo, 7 points. Picked up a yellow card, suspended in midweek now. A little bit frustrating. Foden, 0 points. But he looked lively. Could have had one as well. Could have scored. Silva, now everyone's brought him in. Now everyone's on the Silva train. He duly blanks, as always happens. Sancho and Fernandes there, both blanking. So a bit of a blank midfield, that. Salah, doing what Salah does and getting a goal and a star man. Antonio, who were hoping to get something against Burnley today, blank. And Jota, who did come on as a sub, blank. Too many blanks in that side. Way too many blanks. Bad week, really, so far. But yeah.
And Antonio has a good record against Burnley as well. I thought he would score today.
Yeah, I thought he'd have done all right, but one transfer left in there. I had the money to go Antonio Lukaku, which I'm glad I held off on. As Lukaku, what did he come on at 87th minute or something? Didn't seem to be getting the time. But yeah, really one of them weeks so far. But it can all change midweek. Could probably have a storm as it usually happens. Usually pick up more points. But yeah, over to yours, James.
Yep, 47 points this week. Did a couple of transfers, which worked out quite well. I did Diaz to Robertson, and just to gain 0.2 million so that I could do a Harry Kane to Ronaldo switch. I think that worked out pretty well because Robertson and Ronaldo got 8 points each. Diaz only got 4. Kane didn't play, so it's a net result there, I think. Only down to one transfer left, though, which is a bit of a concern in this team. So, yeah, going from the back, Ederson 5 points, Trent 8, Reece James 1, Robertson 8. Alonso got me an assist with 4 points. Another blank in midfield again. Sancho, Silva, Mahrez did nothing. Up front, Salah got me 13. Jota could have scored a couple when he came on, I noticed. He should have had at least one goal, really. So I wouldn't be getting rid of him or getting nervous if anyone's listening who's holding Jota. I think he's still a good option. And Ronaldo scored his penalty, so he got me 8 points. So not too bad.
Decent enough that halfway through.
Yeah,
42. So Ben having the best of the week so far, but yeah, really good. Right, let's do question time. Let's jump straight in with Mikey W. My question for the pod: with Chelsea leaking goals for fun, should we preserve precious December transfers or swap defensive assets for safer options from, say, City or Liverpool? James.
Wow, I'm having this dilemma myself in my best team, which is quite heavy on Chelsea at the back, and is now dropping down the league slightly. But we'll come to that later. I don't know. If you've got 4 or 5 transfers left, you could consider moving a Chelsea defender or 2 to City. I'm not sure I'd move to Liverpool now. If you look at the fixtures going forwards, they're a bit trickier. There's a couple of nasty ones near the end of the month, and then we play Leicester twice as well and Leeds. I'm not seeing a massive amount of clean sheets in those fixtures. Tony, you've obviously spotted that as well. I can tell.
Yeah. They do turn tricky them fixtures, don't they?
They are, well, especially for clean sheets. I'm not saying we won't pick up points, but Leeds can score against anyone.
Yeah.
Leicester are pretty good going forwards. And then there's some real doozies right at the back end, isn't there? With some couple of red fixtures there. So I would only do it if I had Mikey. I'd only do it if I had transfers to spare, and you're looking to catch up. Obviously, Chelsea are missing some key midfielders at the moment, which I think is causing them to leak clean sheets. Do we know when Kante's back? Is he out for long?
Not too sure. I think Kovacic is nearing a return.
He's January, I think, mid-Jan. I think Kovacic.
I'm sure I read yesterday he was only a few days off, which I thought were good news. Must have been reading from a previous one. Yeah, they are missing Kante and Kovacic.
Yeah,
massively. Jorginho doing his bit just on the penalties. That's all he's doing really. Again, if you've got Chelsea defence, Chelsea block defence, you really are stuck, I think, because you don't want to spunking transfers, especially all the news with the COVID going around. I think that's all you're going to hear from me today is about not using transfers, and unless you're dead set on a player and you want to use a couple of transfers to get somebody in who you really want, I think.
I would say if you had 5 transfers left and you could go to and move a Chelsea defender to Cancelo if you don't have him, I would wholeheartedly endorse that move.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to relieve that block a little bit. But yeah, it's tricky. You should be saving those transfers really if you can.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Ben.
Just had a look there. Kante's due to be back for next weekend's game against Wolves.
Maybe it Kante I was thinking of.
Wolves don't score many, do they? They're quite tight, but they're not exactly free scoring, are they? And of course, Jimenez, what an idiot! He won't be playing. Gets himself sent off. 2 yellow cards in like 10 seconds.
So daft.
Did you see him? Did you see him going off the pitch when he took the hand off and he was throwing it, and the crowd were going, "Way!" So he kept doing
it. He's waving to the crowd as
he just needed to get off the pitch. Embarrassing. Embarrassing it was. So stupid, isn't it? I mean, even the first tackle probably wasn't even a yellow card, but given what we're going on like for the last few minutes, you're getting a little bit of needle in there, and then ref, rightly, he just pulled out a yellow card. He was just one of them. He was the wrong person to make the challenge at the wrong time, kind of thing. But then as soon as you got that yellow card, piss off away from there. What are you doing? If you're his teammates and you're having to chase City around for 45 minutes already, you'd be absolutely fuming. He stuck his leg out and blocked that free kick being taken. Just, I mean, it's one of them. It's really harsh, but it's tough titties, isn't it? You just don't do it. Don't do it. As a manager, be fuming at him. But yeah, so he'll be missing. I think Wolves are a little bit too fussy. They'll have a Adama Traore up there though. Probably get a 7 rating. One of them.
I was watching the games the other night on BT, and there's a United game, and he was reading out the fixtures for the week, for the midweek that were on BT, and on the screen it came up with the games on Thursday, and Leicester's playing Tottenham on Thursday. He only read out 2 out of the 3 fixtures, so that sort of tells me that the Leicester Tottenham game is going to be cancelled as well.
Well, if they're back in training today, I don't know. I'm sure it would just depend on how many people are testing positive this week for them.
Yeah.
Surely they're going to try and get that game on.
They've already. Go on, Ben.
No, I was just going to say, because if you are going on to Liverpool, you play Tottenham on the next weekend, don't you? So if they've still got bad COVID, it might get cancelled. I know it's a bit far off yet, but go on.
I was going to say, well, I think I agree with Tony. They got to try, if they can get most of their team out, they've got to do it, because they've already had a game called off with the snow. There just won't be. There will become a point where on earth will they fit these fixtures in?
Yeah.
Just have to throw the youth team out, are they?
Well, that could come to that, couldn't it?
Well, if they can do it in the Europa Conference League, they can do it in the Premier League.
Exactly. Get it out.
They might get knocked out of the Carabao Cup, and then there'll be a few midweek games then after
some
game
gaps
week 18
from
and
then,
that. Yeah. But I personally wouldn't be jumping off of Chelsea with them fixtures. Still in the cup, possibility of playing in the semi-final just before we get the transfers back. They play Everton next. That's before the transfers come through. Wolves play, and then Brentford, Aston Villa, Brighton, and then Liverpool, and then possible Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. So I'd just stay on Chelsea, me. I can't see any other. But Man City are out, so they've got 2 possibilities of games not there. Liverpool's fixtures are quite tough, and Man United are out the cup as well. So I probably wouldn't jump across there unless you wanted to free up some funds.
Yeah,
bring a Man United defender in to get Ronaldo.
Yeah, definitely. That's, I mean, with the transfers, unless you're after somebody a lot of people run scared of Ronaldo this month, and rightly so with them fixtures. So if you do have to drop a Chelsea defensive asset to fund that, yeah, I get it completely. Yeah, just try and hold them transfers, and as well, let's not downplay how big and how big of an impact Kante will have on that side, because he is unbelievable in that position.
Yeah.
The protection he gives that defence, and his running, his energy, the recoveries, ball recoveries, the tackles he makes, recovery tackles, he's unbelievable. Probably
Yeah.
still the best, probably I think, in the Premier League. And having that in front of them back three, I think it'll just start ticking along again for Chelsea, and you'll probably see 4 or 5 clean sheets on bounce.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. They're really missing him, aren't they?
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
yeah, that'll make a big difference.
I think it's sure any team will miss a goal, Kante. I think Leicester struggled without him once they lost him, and he's such a big player for whichever team he's in. I mean, Leicester with 1 in clean sheets, how much they could have done with Kante for the last 6 or 7 games.
Yeah. He's
But
like 2 players, mate.
he is. He's unreal. Yeah, I won't be using them just willy nilly. Just try and preserve, unless you're after somebody, because we all know Liverpool could start conceding right next 2 or 3 games. City, it's not something I'll be jumping at. Right, David 87. How much do you value differentials at this stage of the season in his mini league? The teams are starting to look very similar, especially with Tottenham being out of action. You have the choice of 4 or 5 forwards for 3 spots. My differential the past few weeks has been jumping off the Chelsea block early, which has improved his position, but I can see that starting to change. I suppose my question is, should the tactic be to just go with the best players and ignore differentials at this stage, or does he try to anticipate the next form move? He's 5th from 28th in his league, 50 points off the top. James?
Well, I'm quite a safe manager, really, and I generally stick with the best players. Unless, of course, you're behind and you're trying to close the gap in the mini league, then I might have 1 or 2 differentials.
Yeah.
I think with Dream Team, switching your defensive blocks, and maybe not the whole block because you've only got 5 transfers, but if you've got a couple of one team and a couple of another, you can switch those blocks quite quickly. So I think switching your defensive blocks can get big games if you have the balls to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, a differential, like a Gallagher, a Maddison, a couple of players today that have starred. Obviously, we're looking at like West Ham, got quite a few in there with Bowen, Benrahma, Fornals, who have done pretty well so far. Townsend earlier in the season. I think it's about jumping on them and off them at the right time, innit? Because, as Ben likes to say, they're streaky, aren't they, mate?
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Ben?
Yeah, like James said, I like to just stick with the best players. Try not to go too far away from I say template, but the best players, the ones that score the most points. Obviously, I've gone a bit differential this week with bringing in Mane, because Jota was on the bench, wasn't he? So put Mane in, see if we can get something back from these fixtures. Obviously, he only got me 3 points this week, but it could be a big score against Newcastle midweek. So, but yeah, I do like to stick with the best players and maybe just do the odd one like Sterling or something like that.
Yeah, Sterling's been a bit of a differential. That's come
Yeah.
good, and obviously he seems more nailed. I don't think you should ignore differentials, as you say.
No.
Like, I mean, say Maddison. If Leicester now kick on, start to. I know they lost Johnny Evans today, but so they might not. Although they got a clean sheet without him, he might be the problem. But obviously, it did Ndidi filled in at back, didn't he?
Yeah.
When Sommer went into midfield. If Leicester were to carry on, because he looked good going forward, there's some really nice play. Maddison, I know you say he's streaky, but it's one of them moments where how long is he going to be streaky for? Is he just going to shall I hop on now and he might have 2 or 3 more weeks in him where he's getting these big hauls? You don't know, do you?
Well, look at his fixtures now. He's got Tottenham on Thursday at home, maybe because they're a bit short on numbers with COVID.
Yeah.
Then you've got Everton away, which they're not doing that good. But
The shaky Everton.
when they're at home with the Goodison crowd behind them, look what they did against Arsenal. They are shaky though, yeah. But then you've got Liverpool, Man City, Liverpool. So it's probably not the best time to jump on him now.
No, it might be one to note for after that, the end of that fixture block.
Yeah, definitely, because then it's Norwich in January, and then Watford in the FA Cup, Burnley, Brighton. So maybe that's the time to jump on.
What about Tiedemanns, Ben?
Yeah.
I like Tielemans.
Yeah, he played well today.
Bit injury prone though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on penalties as well when Vardy's not on the pitch, which is quite good.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, I've already sat there watching that penalty, didn't
he? Yeah, he missed his last one as well.
He might keep hold of him now then.
Yeah, hopefully.
That'd be nice. I know it's easy after say, I don't know whether you just watched the Everton Crystal Palace game, but Gallagher today, obviously his second goal was unbelievable. But his all-round play, I know he played further forward. Vieira tried him a bit further back for a few games, and he's not been as effective. Today we pushed further forward. Will Hughes, that's a blast from the past wherever he's been for the last few years. I don't know, but Will Hughes turns up with his bright white hair and pushed Gallagher further forward, and he looked unreal again today. There's a differential. I don't know if you've seen the Palace fixtures.
They're
forward into this month. We've got Southampton, Watford, Tottenham, Norwich, then West Ham. That's not a bad batch of fixtures. Obviously, they don't have the cup game. And obviously, FA Cup comes start of January, but in this month, there's no cup game, but there's 5 more fixtures. And I mean, I can see him getting some decent points out of that. So as a differential, he's worth an option. You have got 50 points to make up, David, so it's still early. 50 points can be made up very quickly with a block, defence, or whatever you might be on, but I won't panic. But it's always good to look at a differential. If someone you fancy, have a do. Why not? Right, Andy Barnett, SDT Lowdown. With COVID-19 ripping through the Premier League, AFCON on the horizon, fixture congestion causing injuries too, I fear 5 transfers just will not be enough in December and January. Do you think we used to only have 3, didn't we?
No.
Now we're saying 5's not enough, but yeah. I'm assuming most will only have maybe max 2 transfers left for December, and going forward, we need to replace Salah in the team. I think everyone towards the back of December will be playing with maximum of 9 to 10 fit players. Also, Liverpool are trying to hold on to Salah and Mane until January, so won't miss that many fixtures. Question is, regarding subs, how do we approach the end of this month and going through January, considering we'll have a couple of transfers left for this month and 5 at the beginning of January? Now, I just point out that, Andy, you're being very, what's the word? Optimistic about how many transfers we'll have at the end of this month, because with that COVID, I can see maybe within the next 7 to 10 days, them last 2 transfers maybe that teams have got being wiped out. It only takes a Ronaldo. If it goes through the United camp, as we've heard, I think it only take a Ronaldo or Fernandes and these players that are quite highly owned, and they'll be blitzed, and you'll just be looking at the 5 of January. But what do you think, James?
Well, I think if you're down to 1 or 2 transfers, I'd be keeping them back. For injuries, COVID, AFCON. Obviously, if you've got a player that's going to miss like 3 games or more, then you might as well just use one of those transfers you're saving back. That's what they're for. But I mean, you can always sort your AFCON situation out in January, because it doesn't look. There's still question marks about whether it's actually going to go ahead, whether players might be available for the Boxing Day fixtures or even longer. January is a relatively short month, so you've only got 3 weekends to worry about. So you might only be missing a player for like 1 or 2 games. So if you need to use them for a player that's not going to be around for some time, then just use it. But otherwise, keep hold of them.
Yeah, totally agree with you there. You basically covered it, mate.
Yes, the AFCON thing is going to be a big one. I can't see starting every few days that goes by, I think it's becoming a bigger doubt. I think Bojo's speaking right now, isn't he?
Yeah, I
About
was
going
just
to
thinking
level
that.
4 alert. I mean, it won't. Don't. He's trying to distract from all the shenanigans going on at 10 Downing Street. So it'll only be 2 or 3 days, and we'll be on level 5, and he'll be trying to bring the tiers back. So I can't see the Afcon going ahead. I can't. But you've got to plan towards it as if it's going to happen whilst it says it. But I think the biggest threat to us at the minute is the COVID, and it's the biggest threat to us putting 10, 11 players out on the pitch. And that's why I'm looking at teams and getting people to send me teams and stuff and asking for a bit of advice. And a lot of the time, I'm just saying, just stay. If them players are playing, just keep them, because that's the best you could hope for, really. And if you run out of transfers and you lose a couple of your big hitters, I mean, imagine it going through Liverpool now and you're losing Salah. If you've got Salah Mane or double up or Salah Jota, next thing you know, you've got 10 days, maybe missing 3 games without them because you've moved from a Chelsea block to a City block for whatever reason. Yeah, they're so important. I'd rather not make any moves. My players stay fit, but I didn't quite get in a couple of players I didn't have, but they all played through the month, and I've got a few transfers left to. Anyway, Lee Hooper. My question: Who would you say currently the worst value for money players in the game? I like this. My opinion is at 6.1 million. Bruno is currently. I'm amazed his ownership is still over 50%. We got a list there, lads, of who's the worst owned.
I've got one. Ryan
Go on.
Bertrand. He's minus 10 points now. 2.67 points per million, and minus 0.1. Sorry, minus 1.1 average points.
Jesus.
He has been awful. He looked really promising in pre-season as well for Leicester. He was on set pieces, but ever since the season started, it's just gone downhill.
Yeah.
I think Fernandez is doing okay. I know he's expensive, but 3.7 points a game, and he's getting 13.44 points per million. He's got 82 points as well, so he's doing okay. But I know it's a lot of value for a player that's just trickling along.
Yeah.
I'll take your Ryan Bertrand and raise you a Matt Ritchie. Minus 11. Worst points per million. His points per million are minus 18.
Jesus.
Because he's actually worth less than a million.
Shocking.
Did you know Paul Pogba is still owned by 7.8% of teams?
I seen Kane was in 7.2%.
Harry Kane. Kane's still owned by 20%.
Oh, I'm looking top 1K. I was looking at.
Yeah, the whole thing. Pogba's still got 7.8% ownership. Yeah. Worst value for money? Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I've got a few more written down here if
Go
you
on.
need me to go through them. So if you look at players that are worth more than 4 million and then sort them by points per million, Marcus Rashford, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, John Stones, and not far behind that is Kevin De Bruyne, who would be my pick at the moment. He costs 5.3 million and he's only returning 8.3 points per million. I do like Lee's Bruno call, though. He's definitely not worth 6.1 million.
Yeah, I don't know how he's held his value.
Yeah, it's odd that, isn't it? You'd think he'd be dropping more. He's just ticking along, I suppose. So it's not dropping too much, but not getting
every
the
now and
points.
again, sneaking an assist or a 7 rating, it just seems to hold him off. Or the rises are only like 0.1s or falls, sorry, 0.1s.
We don't want to talk about price rises this week, though. It's a bit contentious at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit contentious. I'm getting my studying hat on. I'm going to try and work that out over the next 3 or 4 weeks. I'm going to proper mull over that. Try and crack the code, but we'll see. We'll see. Ash has been on. I've not really got a question, but I burned all my transfers in my main team. I still have a good few teams and transfers left, so I'll be grateful for the insight. Can't wait to listen to the pod tomorrow, though. Good to have you listening, Ash. Thanks for the support as well. Signed up to the Patreon. Cheers, mate. Hope you enjoy. Kaiser Solzy, Fantasy Football. Can we review James Fricker's team? It's in 268th place. Is that still correct as of now, James?
No, it's not. It's dropped to 320th, which is a bit disappointing. So, I mean, it was as high as like 199 the other day.
Yeah.
I'm suffering from that Chelsea block, so I've been pondering whether I should have made. I've still got 5 transfers left, so I'm thinking, should I have made some? But in some respects, I suppose if we have massive COVID outbreaks, I might be in a really strong position with 5 transfers to really. If say Chelsea's games were cancelled, the next 3 games were cancelled, and I could switch to full Man City block or something, that could be season defining, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll see.
I think you should definitely hold them Chelsea defenders, mate, for now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, especially after what you were saying and having a look at fixtures, and if Kante's back,
Yeah.
I'm going to hold, and I can always set myself up for January if I don't use them.
Definitely. Play the long game.
Yeah. Does anyone want to read out my my game week 1 team from my top side then?
Yeah. Hold on. So just let me finish his question. I diverted then. Great chance for him to have a great season. Also, are there any known players in the top 100 that you would like that you think could be contenders to win it all, i.e. your subscribers or in your leagues? So we'll go on to that next. So he obviously wants to review your team, James, where it's come from, where it's going.
Okay.
So yeah, a run through your game week 1 team.
Yep.
I'll put it up on screen on the YouTube video, and we'll have a read through.
So believe it or not,
go on.
My best team started with Lloris, Reguilon, Trent, Davison Sanchez, Ali, Mora, Tielemans, Fernandez, Kane, Son, and Salah.
7 Spurs.
7 Spurs, because Spurs had all those extra fixtures at the beginning of the season, didn't they?
Yeah.
But it didn't. That didn't actually pan out. That was a disaster, really, if we would look back. But what did work in my favour was the fact that Spurs got 3 clean sheets on the bounce.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I could not wait to get rid of my Spurs players after those first 3 games. I was looking at the stats, and I watched every minute of their first 3 games, and it was it was a miracle that they didn't concede a goal. So I was like, right, I've got to dump these guys as soon as I can. So in game week 2, I brought in Mahrez for Tielemans, so he didn't last very long. Game week 3, I brought in Ben Rama. Obviously, I got here on him really early when he scored all his points, and I got rid of him before he started blanking. So it's little decisions like that getting on and off at the right time. And I won't lie, I would say there's a little bit of fortune in there as well, because in other teams, I kept Ben Rama, for instance. So in game week 4, I brought in Torres, Lukaku, Robertson, and David De Gea, believe it or not. But you can't say those were particularly inspired moves. But by game week 5, I was starting to move to the Chelsea back line with James and Rudiger. I also bought in Traore for the magic Traore and Ronaldo. And at that point, by game week 5, I've ditched all of the Spurs players. Then I didn't make any moves for a couple of game weeks. And I think in game week 7, I went to 3 Chelsea defenders. I brought in Aspilicueta. By game week 9, I'd moved Lukaku out to Mahrez, I think, and David De Gea to Ederson. In game week 11, I went straight on Chilwell, even though he'd only just come back into the side. Aspie wasn't looking amazing, and I don't know why. I just thought I'm going to take a bit of a gamble here that he's going to start playing matches. And I also got rid of Traore for Bernardo Silva at that point.
Yeah.
So all of those moves panned out amazingly. In game week 12, I think Kevin De Bruyne got injured. I brought in Foden. I don't think that really made a massive difference. But I did score 138 points in game week 12. But I think it was game week 13 that really propelled me up the ranks. And I can credit Ben with helping me with this one because I was like, what should I do? And I ran a few options past him, and he said, why didn't you do Ben Rama to Jota? And that's what really propelled me up the ranks. And I haven't made any changes since then. And I've still got 5 transfers left. So that's a very quick run through. It's quite a difficult question to answer in a very limited prep time. But I hope I've done my best there.
Thank God we're only on game week 15. Have we done game week 30? Jesus. Yeah, good question, Kez. Like you say, it's interesting to look back on it like that, even already. It's a short space of time to see which transfer has paid off and which didn't. Like you say, there's a few iffy ones in there, but with 5, you probably get away with it.
Yeah.
And
I
a
mean,
few
that
more
game week
inspired.
12, where I got 138 points, I had a game week rank of 700. So
Yeah,
it's big scores like that can really propel you up, isn't it?
yeah, definitely. And yeah, the Yotta shout, like I said, just before he bagged quite a few big holes back to back, didn't he?
Yeah.
They're the ones. They're the ones. And then you're ahead of the curve, then, aren't you? Then everyone starts bringing Yotta in, but you've had his big holes.
Yeah, I've been a bit fortunate with, some 50-50 decisions. I mean, the thing I've done different this year is I've had 10 teams. So
Yeah,
you can afford to mix it up a bit with when you've got 10 teams. I've never done that before, normally just the one.
yeah,
And in that team, most of my 50-50 calls have gone in my favour.
yeah. That's what you need, don't you?
Yeah.
You need that little bit of luck, as maybe. Yeah. Hopefully, you can keep plugging away, mate. Keep climbing. Hopefully that luck
Yeah.
stays with us and you can do well. So, contenders to win it all, subscribers, leagues. Obviously, when I read this question, it brought me back to you last year, Ben. Obviously, you finished 13th, were it?
19th, mate.
19th last year. But then your Dream Team Tonic team, which you started like, what was your 100k?
Yeah, about 100k, yeah.
And you finished in top 100.
Yeah. I think it was,
That's with
yeah.
game week 12. Did we start it?
Yeah, about 10, I think.
Game week 10.
Yeah, something like that.
So it shows. I mean, it's only a few game weeks ago. It shows you can go from 100k rank into the top 100. So there's
Yeah.
still loads of football to play, loads of ups, downs. So there's so many contenders that could win it. It's open still.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's people in our league that are absolutely flying in the Dream Team Tonic Cash League. Have you got them wrote down there, Ben?
Yeah, Alex Cole, he's 39th on the leaderboard. And Dan Sherwood's 54th in the top 100 leaderboard. They're 1 and 2 in our cash league.
Yeah.
Well done, chaps.
Yeah, they're flying, aren't they?
They're smashing it.
They're making it a little bit difficult to catch you in our league. To be fair, got a nice I think second place got 60-point cushion as a year. Yeah, there's lots of football to be played, aren't there? So, Yeah. Seaweaver's in 7th on the main leaderboard. He must be a strong contender, he says. And
This
FPL
Flower Pot
Golden
Man's not
Cup.
on the leaderboard, is he?
Flower Pot Man isn't, no.
No, he's
He's
too busy posting pictures of Maguire with his pants down.
Oh, yeah. It did make me chuckle, that as well. Yeah. Moving swiftly on. Connor, resident blogger Connor's been on. This is a question mainly for Tony. What have you been feeding your son Mason? He's gone from one of my worst players to one of my best. Just the usual. Just the usual. Obviously, we've changed his boots, and it's doing the trick. Yeah, Werner borrowed his boots overnight. You see that?
Yeah.
So
2
I told him
goals.
to get him back, and worked a treat again. But yeah, he's come good. He's so pivotal to that Chelsea side as well. He's quality. I think if I put him in one of my teams, one of my lower down teams, I didn't take the punt on him. Obviously Chelsea, a little bit off the boil, aren't they? So I didn't want to punt. But if COVID weren't knocking around, I could have seen him. He probably would have gone into one of my better sides. Also, this is Connor's blog team. Just jot that down. This is Connor's blog team. 1 transfer left, 1.6 million in the bank. Is it just a case of sitting back and relaxing till any injuries? I just took the words right out of my mouth because that's all I've been saying to everybody. But yeah, James.
Well, simple answer from me, Connor. And yeah, I think you know what it will be. Yeah, hold on to that last transfer. I'd be amazed if you don't need it for an injury or something COVID related.
Yeah.
Besides, the team's well set up, doesn't require any major surgery. Just sit tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just read the team out. It's Edison, Alonso, Rudiger, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Silva, Mount, Foden, Bowen, Salah, Ronaldo.
It's a good team, that.
Yeah, really good team. I can't see any fault in there. Just keep plodding along. Keep the one transfer back for the injury or COVID.
Definitely. Yeah, nice and easy on Connor. Kerry Jones has been on. 4 transfers remaining. At the moment, all players are playing, which is what we like to hear, especially with all this crap going on. Would you hold back the transfers until later in December or bring info and players in now? My thoughts are Bruno and Mane out to Foden and CR7, or keep back until later weeks, or any other transfers we can see. Thank you. Great pod, by the way. Cheers, Kerry. For me, no. Don't use them transfers, mate.
Yeah.
Bruno Mane, I just hold back for him unless you are really wanting Ronaldo, which I can see why. I can see why, definitely. I'd hold up now until this news comes out and it's clear about what's happening at United, because if they do have an outbreak, you'd be taking Bruno out for somebody else, to be fair. But yeah, if you really want Ronaldo and you're set on him and you're thinking you need to come in your team, use the 2 transfers and save 2 back. You have got plenty. If not, I'd just roll. James?
I don't think it's a bad side at all.
No.
Normally, I would say Bruno and Mane to Foden and Ronaldo. That's actually not a bad shout. But the thing is, Foden's carrying a knock at the moment. I wouldn't be touching him. He's a good player, but he seems to be having some ankle trouble or something. So I would be wary of bringing in an injury-prone player or somebody carrying a knock at around this time. If you're really set on making that transfer, I do have an alternative suggestion for you. If you got rid of who was it, Mane and Diaz, and used the 2.9 million you have in your bank, that would leave you with 12.3. So you could get Ronnie, and that leaves you with 3.8 million, which would get you a Alex Telles or a Diogo Dalot
Mm.
as a potential alternative for you.
Yeah,
What do you think of that, boys?
that's the United training it.
Yeah.
Great fixtures. That's why everyone's running around trying to get Ronaldo in the team because of how well them fixtures were. What's made me probably back off that probably 10-20% is their performance the other night wasn't that great. And they lost. I mean, Grant Hanley, being a Rovers supporter, I know Grant Hanley's a little bit shaky at the back. He's a warrior and he's a bit of a brute, but I thought Ronaldo would have, would have pretty much embarrassed that Norwich back line. They put a midfielder in at centre half, Sorensen, and it didn't really improve much. Yeah. So I have backed off the United tree a little bit. At the minute, I think if Kerry's position there with Mane, Salah, and Jota, I'd much rather going into this midweek fixture with that three up front than with Ronaldo at the minute. To be honest, just my thought. And with the COVID knocking around, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I like that. I like that shout, James. Diogo Dalot. It looks like he's probably going to keep that position from AWB at the minute. Would you reckon, Ben?
I'd definitely hold off the transfer. Next week, United's only got a single game week, while Liverpool have got a double game week. James was saying that Liverpool probably won't play a full side against Leicester in the Cup, but I have a feeling they'll go pretty strong. They won't go full strength, but I could see Mane playing, or like Jota and Mane, Origi playing up front against us in the Cup. And it's a double game week, like I say. And if they get through, then they've got the semi-final at the end of the month. So it's extra games. I'm always looking at the fixtures, always looking who's got the extra games. If you really want Ronaldo, yeah, go for it. But I wouldn't. I'd hold off because you've got 2-1 there over Ronaldo with Liverpool forwards.
Yeah, good shout. Regards to that game, I mean, Liverpool had a dead rubber Champions League game and Salah were on pitch.
Yeah.
Do you think Salah's requesting to play because he's wanting to break scoring records, or?
I think it's more to do with the money that they get through winning the games in the Champions League.
Yeah, we touched on that, didn't we? But surely, how important the other games would be when you've won. I know they broke a record, didn't they, for winning 6 games out of 6?
Yeah, they did. No other English side has ever won all 6 group games.
So maybe that fed into it a little bit, wanting to create a little bit of history, being the first English side to do that. It's tricky to know what Klopp's going to do in it. It's like you say, you'd think it's a banker for Minamino or Origi to play. Maybe even put Ox up there on one of wide positions as well. He could rest all 3 of them, couldn't he? If he wanted to. But yeah, what he does is a mystery. But you'd rather take the gamble and have the 2-1 maybe, than put Ronaldo in.
Yeah. At what point does Ronaldo just become so expensive that he's just not? 8.5 million. I mean,
pretty much there now, isn't he?
I think he's getting there, isn't he?
Yeah.
And if he keeps going, you could be using like 20%, almost 20% of your budget on one player. That's crazy.
He could hold off this week and then bring in Ronaldo the week after when they've got Newcastle and Burnley double game week.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
Yeah.
I
always go to fixtures, me 2-1. You got 3 Liverpool strikers there.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, Liverpool, the top scorers in the league, aren't they, by some distance? So, don't think having the Liverpool front three is that bad. Of course, 2 of them might be going to the African Cup of Nations, which is. I'm hoping they cancel it myself.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. But even still, if Kerry holds them transfers.
It shouldn't be during the season anyway. It should be in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Right. That's it for the questions. Let's go. It's the cash week this week in the in the Dream Team Tonic Cash League. Game week 15. Double header. I think it landed on a double header last time as well. So yeah, we'll jump across to the mini league. We'll have a rundown of the top 10. Either one of you lads tonight. It's up to you, James. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, sure. I'm in 12th, by the way, which is annoying.
I do. I see you in 11th.
Where
I
was
thought,
that?
we were doing a top 11 tonight.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought last week I put the graphic in the pod notes and I did the top. I put the top 11 in there. The boys didn't notice it until we started doing the pod. I thought I might be pushing it a little bit if I did it this week with a top 12. So I've stuck with the top 10. So in 10th we have Anthony Sutcliffe.
Get in there. Still in there. 2 weeks in a row.
In 9th,
Hey.
Mark Williamson. And then we have 3 players tied on joint 6th, believe it or not, which is our Fergie, Steve Legg, Andrew Pilgrim. In 5th, we've got Heath Robinson. Oh, done it again, haven't I? Sorry, Heath. It's Heath Robson.
You just add in there.
The last time I did that, he spotted it and did call me out on it, so I apologise.
You're just trolling him now.
Oh no! Every time I read that name, I just hear Heath Robinson. I don't know why. Anyway, in 4th, Jonathan Perrow. 3rd, Niles Koopman. 2nd, Dan Sherwood, and at the top we have Alex Cole.
Happy days. Well done. Got only 7 points between them at top, and then there's a bit of a break of about 50 points down to 3rd. So they've got it between them 2 at the minute. Well, lots of football to go. So yeah, that's halfway through. So £50 to the game week winner.
Sorry, should we give a shout out to the leader at the moment for the week for the game for week 15 prize?
We surely can.
I've got it here if you want.
Yeah, go on. Who's currently leading?
Peter Kemp on 84 points.
Peter Kemp. Do you know, Peter? I think I might have just pipped you to the prize in game week 10. I think I remember you were up there with a couple of teams. Yeah, fair play, Peter.
What game we're on 15, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, still halfway, so there's still a lot of football to be played. And remember, football's played on the grass. Right, Ben, the most owned.
Yeah.
The most owned in the top 1K. Have a
Right.
quick rundown of the top 5 of them.
Yeah, as usual, Mr. Mo Salah, 99.8%. Bernardo Silva's shot up there, 85.8%.
Ooh.
Ronaldo, 81%. Trent Alexander-Arnold, 78.6%. And João Cancelo, 51.6%.
Excellent. Look at all them. You see the Liverpool defenders there: Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Alisson, all jumped on there this week.
Matip will be rested in midweek.
Yeah. Right, the latest ins from me. Top 5. No surprise, 28,000 transfers in. Bernardo Silva, ready for his blank. My lad, Mason Mount, 14,000 transfers in. Jota, 12,000 transfers in, regards to that he were benched. And obviously, there was the threat of the injury, weren't they? But he managed to get off the bench and spurred a few chances. Lukaku transferred in by 8,000. And 5th on the list is Bowen, 7,400 transfers in.
I'll tell you what, Jota would have been higher if he wasn't an injury doubt.
Yeah.
I think we might well have even seen Jota's picture.
Yeah. And notice Lukaku, I mean, a lot of people had the same quandary this week with Jota being potential, not trained and stuff. I think a lot of people would have gone to Lukaku and and they come on the 87th minute, didn't they? I mean, I did that. I was stuck with Lukaku in one of my teams because I brought him in as part of a double transfer, and I couldn't reverse it when I knew he wasn't starting because I'd used the money that I'd got from getting rid of Kane to bring in Raheem Sterling. So it wasn't a disaster, but I'm stuck with Lukaku now. So there you
Yeah,
go.
in my best side, that's the two transfers I did.
Yeah,
Was Sterling in and Kane out and Lukaku in. But I did that on the before
yeah.
the price rise, because I think Lukaku went up, didn't he? So one of them. I'm sure he'll start getting the game time and he'll start bagging. Too good not to do. Latest outs, James?
Yep. So no surprise, as predicted last week, Harry Kane,
Yeah.
18,000 people out. Obviously, the COVID situation has pushed that number up even higher. Ben Rama, second place, 13,000 out.
Yeah.
Ivan Toney, nearly 7,000 out for him. Obviously, he's got COVID as well. Sonny, 5,000 out, and Foden, 5,000 out. Although Foden, he came on, didn't he,
Yeah.
in the
He
second
did.
half?
Yeah, nearly scored. Did well.
Yeah,
Played
yeah.
well. Looked lively. Looked a lot livelier than De Bruyne, who I'm not really looking too keen on. He
Yeah.
looks a bit leggy. I think he's put a bit of chunk on.
I
He seems
hear
to be going.
Gundo's got back problems, hasn't he? Though, so it's looking like KDB's going to have to play because if
Yeah,
Gundo's got back issues, then that's not good, is it?
definitely
Might
not.
not be good for Bernardo Silva either, because he might end up playing further back.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's one that I was digging around on that, Ben. And I did start it a little bit, and obviously trying to dig the stats of Bernardo with De Bruyne, Bernardo without De Bruyne. I'd like to I just drop Martin Tyler a message on that one and see if he could do it for me. But yeah, it's one that I'll probably try and get together because it's definitely. I don't know whether it's just how we perceive it, but I'm pretty sure Bernardo Silva is not as prolific goal scoring and assisting when De Bruyne's in that side.
Well, do you remember last year when De Bruyne was out and Gundogan was
Yeah,
he was
went
scoring
mental. Yeah,
every week, wasn't he? He went on a massive run,
yeah,
and when KDB came back, it dropped off massively, didn't it? So yeah, we might see the same thing here.
yeah. Which would
Be
be
a
a
shame.
shame.
It would be a shame.
Love Silva, great little player.
Yeah, they were talking about it on something. I can't remember what they were talking about, but they were saying you can't tell where Bernardo's playing each week. He plays in a different position every single week.
Yeah.
One time he's playing false nine, then he's playing on the right wing, left wing, then he's playing centre midfield. You don't know where he's playing.
I think with his energy, I think he's just everywhere on the pitch all the
Yeah.
time.
His
He always seems to be somewhere.
his heat map's just a big red
Everywhere.
blob, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. In all the opposition's half, just red. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy the amount of work he gets through. He deserves his rewards and his plaudits. He's definitely a top player. Right. We was going to put the differential league in there, but I did have a quick look earlier, and nothing's changed really. Obviously, Jota blanking and most others blanking, so we'll update that next week after the end of this game week, as it would be a little bit pointless as not much has changed. Again, if you haven't seen been across to the Patreon page, patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic, please do have a look. We've got a lot more content coming out now for a minimal support fee, and we do appreciate it. It does help us bring more content to you all. As well, get across to dreamteamtonic.com. We've got our resident bloggers, Connor, who does his Dream Team blog, Steve with his Sky Fantasy Football blog, and Mike with his Fan Team blog. If you're looking for a platform to blog on, do drop me a direct message on Twitter at Dream Team Tonic, and we'll have a chat. If there's any suggestions you'd like adding into the podcast or other things that you'd like us maybe to do, any ideas, do just give us a message. We're open to ideas. Anything to add, chaps?
Only I thought Chelsea were very, very fortunate to get a last-minute penalty, and I'm quite upset about it.
Do you know what, as well, when they called for that penalty, I thought he might have given it to Lukaku, Jorginho. Obviously, already having scored one, I thought Lukaku might have took it, but well,
No
he did
chance.
my FPL team the world of good. To be fair, it needed a bit of a boost. Ben,
Nothing to add. Just come on, Leicester.
well, like I say, Rovers might be joining you next season.
Yeah.
Massive win for the Rovers.
Yeah,
The
against
weekend
Bournemouth.
going down to Bournemouth. Hopefully, catching them.
6-pointer.
It was a 6-pointer, that mate. Yeah, it's nice to see us not freeze on the big stage. Anytime we've usually got in and around the playoffs, we've just not done much. But Ben Brereton Diaz,
Yeah.
he's absolutely ripping it up. I think the first goal gives him an own goal, but fair play to Ben. So yeah, cheers everyone. Thanks for listening, and we will be back next week. Hopefully, COVID stays away and we can look forward to a festival of football rather than like some of these lockdowns and shit like that. So yeah, cheers for listening.
Cheers,
Cheers,
Tony.
guys.
Cheers.